Thank you so much. So first of all, I present Navarra here, and we are a rather small autonomous community in the northern part of Spain, not far from Vizcaya, the new member. And with them, we also share some similar characteristics, such as, for example, the Basque language, true treasure in terms of cultural heritage. But on the other hand, on the contrary to the rest of the Spanish observatories, our destination doesn't have any coastline or nor any beaches. But however, we do have a great diversity within our region, from humid valleys in the north to deserts in the south. So later on, in the second part of my presentation, I will continue with the discussion regarding employment, but I will also touch a little bit on our progress measuring sustainability in our region, since we have made some advancements and progress in the past year. So we have been very concerned in calculating our CO2 emissions and our greenhouse gas emissions. So we said, where should we start? We start with ourselves. Therefore, we started calculating the greenhouse gas emissions made by our tourism offices, which are directly controlled by the government. And to do this, we calculated in collaboration with the personnel at the tourism offices and our emissions to reach 2. And as a part of the process, we also inscribed ourselves in the register of greenhouse gas emissions of the Ministry of Ecological Transition. And while obviously the tourism offices is a very, very little part of the total emissions of the tourism industry in Navarra, however, this example is also usable because it started calculating. Then we made a reduction plan, and it has already resulted in concrete action to reduce emissions. However, as I said, the tourism office is only a small fraction of the overall emissions of the sector in Navarra. Therefore, we have also recently started a project to calculate the whole greenhouse gas footprint of the sector in Navarra. And we are doing this together with Global Omnium, whom also calculated the carbon footprint of the city of Valencia. And to do this, we are first going to calculate the roof, or the maximum emissions estimated with general data. And then we continue to the second phase, where we will collaborate with the sector, offering them our tools and the tools of Global Omnium to calculate their emissions and then they have to provide us data. And last, I would like to mention our participation in a technical support instrument project towards a more sustainable tourism, where we are collaborating with Andalusia, Catalonia, and region of Valencia to produce a compendium of indicators, making us to facilitate comparison and benchmarking between our regions. And what is very interesting about this project is that it consists of meetings in all of the regions, together with the stakeholders in each region, as to determine both our limits and the needs of the regions. And there we hope to play a very important role, representing rather small regions, and together with very touristic regions such as Catalonia, Andalusia, and Valencia. Continuing on to the employment, the tourism satellite account is, with no doubt, the most real and valuable source of information when we have to analyze the impact of tourism on employment. However, when we calculate the tourism employment with the tourism account, tourism satellite account, it came clear that even though we have 19,720 related jobs in tourism-related jobs. It's only about 43% that are directly due to tourism. And this is a quite important fact to have in mind when you analyze the sector. Because, for example, in Navarra, many establishments' main orientation is to serve tourists, but there are also, for example, bars and restaurants which are mainly orientated towards the local populations. And the same thing happens in the other direction with some small commerces or food producing businesses that you normally consider they are for the local populations, but they are actually orientated towards the tourist population. Another part of when you talk about the tourism satellite account in Navarra, we have, and we are very happy to have calculated it. However, we just do it with some delay. Our latest version was published in 2018 and with data from 2014, and we expect to publish a new one. I don't know when, but shortly. It's on the steps. So we have to also have additional data to analyze this area. Therefore, to do that, our main source is the Social Security, which is registered data we receive from our Regional Institute of Statistics on a monthly basis. Therefore, this data is very exact because it's registered data and rather than sample data. However, with these data, we don't really know how many of these jobs are actually due to tourism, since we know that about 43% are directly due to tourism. What these data also provide us, and where we have advanced in our analysis in the past year, is that we are now including the type of contract and the regions of Navarra, which has allowed us to deepen our analysis regarding temporary or permanent employment, full-time, part-time, self-employed, or autonomous. And these data has resulted crucial to us to providing knowledge on the situation of the tourism workforce, especially with the COVID pandemic. It was crucial when we were planning relief packages and also upskillings for the sector. And as you can see here, during the last year, when we analyzed the contracts in the tourism sector, we also noticed a huge rise in indefinite contracts, but this is mainly due to policy on a Spanish level rather than the regional level, since they made on Spanish level, they made a labor reform trying to reduce the temporary contracts. Also, it is very important to mention our new analysis on the regional area within Navarra, with the different regions of sub-regions of a region, because of course the majority of the jobs are created in the capital. However, in some of the northern regions, for example in the Pyrenees, the hospitality sector makes up 15% of the overall employees, while in the Navarra as a whole, it is only 6%. Therefore, it is very important to take into account the importance of tourism in these rural areas, especially since we in Navarra consider that tourism is a tool to improve territorial cohesion and fight depopulation in rural areas. We also collect data and, for example, work accidents from the Institute of Public Health, job seekers from the employment services, and the workforce data also coming from the committee survey. However, I would like to, as time is short, I would like to focus a little bit on a survey we conducted during the first months of the pandemic. to highlight the importance of we are doing some monitoring, but we're also doing some ad hoc studies from time to time. And we conducted a survey in 2020 as to determine the impact of the COVID-19 crisis on the sector. And we saw that 52% of the tourism enterprises contract extra employees during peak season. This might seem quite obvious, but we had trouble identifying this tendency on the data we use from Social Security, since, for example, in the food services sector, there's a huge portion that are school canteens, which open in September and close in June. Therefore, when you normally think the peak season is during summer, we see that employment goes down. So we thought, so actually this study helped us to sort of shine some light on the seasonality problem. Then this survey also spoke loud and clearly about the level of education of the employees in the tourism sector in Navarra, since 43% had only basic education, 34% has secondary studies, while only 23% has superior studies. And with these data from the survey, they also helped a lot when we were planning, as I said earlier, the COVID relief packages. And with this, I will conclude my presentations, and I would like to reinstate that the employment is a very complex area. We have a lot of different data sources, and none of them, none of them are without inconveniences. Some are more precise, some are less precise, some take more resources, more time. And therefore we have to use every different source as to shine light on this issue area. So I thank you very much for your attention, and you have our contact details here. And thank you very much.